Brothers and sisters, ah, back at it one more time. And I hope you can see these two things right here. One is Deuteronomy 12, and the other one is the book of Enoch. And I just want to read these two verses real quick so I don't have to actually pick this book up. Let me just set the book down right here. And I'm actually just going to read the book of Enoch first. And the whole concept of the buzzkill, it comes from an email maybe about 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. I was talking with Brother Corey Tyler, and he has a very unique perception about how he sees things as well. So I'm always encouraged and enlightened to hear what he has to say. And pretty much, I had sent him an email, and his response was that the Most High God, when he was giving the people the laws, he wasn't trying to be a buzzkill to them. Now, I wholeheartedly agree to that. But I have to be a buzzkill to my people. I have to throw a little water on the fire, Debbie Downer, whoever you need me to be in that moment, so I can keep it real with you. Because if we read right here what it says the book of Enoch, chapter 98, or XCVIII. And now I swear unto you, to the wise and to the foolish, for ye shall have manifold experiences on the earth. Okay, what this means is that the wise and the foolish are going to have experiences that are like the same. I didn't even want to get carried away with the whole entirety of that chapter, but that's going to be the premise and the basis of how we look at it. That not only do the wise have a certain experience, but the foolish as well have a certain experience that seems the same. Now, having said that, and I'll explain it in a moment, Deuteronomy 12, verse 8, and this is a sentiment that is repeated throughout the book of the Judges. Here we go, quote, ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is aright in his own eyes. So pretty much saying whatever I think is right is what I do. So again, let me reiterate to the people, the Most High God is not such a buzzkill that he wanted everybody to just stop doing everything that they were doing cold turkey. Some of the things that people were engaged in did not call for their death. You understand what I'm saying? May have called for separation or something like that. But still, to have said that, I just need people to get their brains to just click just for half a second with your boy and follow my thought. You can think whatever you think, but just follow this thought that I'm having. So I'm thinking, when I see the wise and the foolish, right? Manifold experience on the earth. And I think of all the people who have worn colors for one reason or another. Let's use an artist like Prince, for example. He's probably the best example I can think of. Prince was known for wearing a royal blue color and like a very royal purple color, right on? Very majestic like. Now, people will tell you that purple is a female color, but if you read the scripture and actually understand what it's talking about, if you're wise, right, then you're going to do these things and understand that, okay, purple is actually a power color. Like this blue, right, is a power color, right on? It's an actual true color of royalty. So what we're getting at is this. The fool and the wise person may both wear the same thing. And I'm talking about, I just need y'all to really understand this. Whether you think Prince is a fool or wise doesn't really matter, because he fits the profile of something just like that. Right, of a person who wears colors in grandeur and in royalty. You understand what I'm saying? That's how that verse goes on. Now, when we see that people did that which was right in their own eyes, let me just go ahead and break this down. Like I told Brother Andre the other day, I've said this to y'all before, right on. I can only get salvation from, I'm worried about my salvation. You know what I mean? Like, I need you to be worried about yours. No matter what I say, you have to act on what you know is the right thing to do. You can say the right thing is paying your bills, but one day we do leave this earth and we do stand to be judged by the Most High God and whomever He appoints over that. So there's no way that you can tell me or convince me to believe that by the way that we act right now, there is no bearing to it. There must be. Having said that, for everybody to do that which is right in their own eyes is no different than Moses saying that you want salvation on your own terms. You see what I'm saying? Like, because if you were to actually just do what you're supposed to do, you would realize why you do this. And it wouldn't, like, for example, whether it's called hypertension, whether it's called high blood pressure, right? Whether it's called diabetes, you can get these things from eating certain chemicals and eating certain foods that are on the earth. You don't have to want it to happen for it to happen to you. And you can feel healthy while not actually being healthy. So the idea that people weren't told, hey, this will drive up your blood pressure, whatever that is back then to them, if they even have a conceptualized thought of that. I'm sure they do. They had physicians who were bringing people back from the dead. So the thought of blood pressure seems pretty minuscule to bringing somebody back to being a living thing again. But having said what I'm saying, I'm saying what I say to say this. They were told what to do. They did not do it. Here we are now. I'm saying to the people, I will be the buzzkill that the Most High God did not want to be. Right. He's saying if you have a strong drink like this one, put it down. Can you dig it? Don't take that with you when you go out. But people steadily drink and drive. If they follow that commandment, you could never be in a vehicular collision where you're at fault because you've had something to drink. If you follow the commandment. Right. You're not supposed to have drinking. You're not supposed to drink. Excuse me. You're not supposed to be a drunk when you go out. So you're not supposed to be faded when you're doing your business. Okay. And you're also not supposed to so what I'm looking for you're not supposed to drink while you're out and about. So you don't go anywhere drunk, but you also don't drink while you're out. Now follow me. Don't want to be a buzzkill, but I have to be. Do you all understand that if you follow that basic tenet, you could never get a citation for drinking and driving, let alone getting into a collision? I mean, like, are we understanding where I'm getting at with this? The buzzkill, the everything that people think is fun, everything that people want to do, are the same activities they're being told not to engage in. Right. They'll say, it's my life. Yeah, well, okay, sure. But I mean, it's a dog's life too. Right. It's a cat's life too. It's a goldfish's life too. So just because it's your life doesn't mean that you don't have to do things that either make you feel uncomfortable, being that you got outside of your comfort zone, right? Or you did something that you don't normally do. And it's not an adverse activity, it's just something that you're not used to. Nope. Think about this. For all the STDs and diseases out there, right? I hate to be a buzzkill. Do y'all realize that if you actually follow the laws, Basic rule, basic one, not to fornicate, right? Not to commit adultery. Okay. So, but let's just go back to fornication, where two unmarried people, this is my idea of fornication, because you can stack the sins on top of each other if you're in different circumstances. But if two unmarried people, unwed people, commit the act of copulation, okay, and they know that they don't want to stay together and are not going to stay together, that is called fornication. Having said that, having spoke on that, it is one of those things where if you start to add all the other laws to it, like a man not laying with the man as with the woman, a man or a woman not laying with the animal to have connection with it, like a quadruped. Um, now let's talk about adultery and relations to people of close kin. I know, major buzzkill. All these people that they believe are, it's their life. Once again, it's their life. So they're making decisions against your life or against my life, and they're okay with that because it's their life. And they don't care if they affect me because it's their life. So this guy goes and commits adultery. Now this guy's raising a child that's not his. Or this guy goes and commits fornication and adultery with this guy's wife. Gives her a funky disease, doesn't get her pregnant, gives her a funky disease. Boom. Right. Now all of a sudden you have a situation where if they just actually did what was in this book, they wouldn't have that. They wouldn't have that. Right. I'm here to kill the buzz, y'all. Once again, I could take a shot and hit the chronic. I'm gonna hold off on the chronic for a second because I'll get to that later. But the real buzzkill, though, is the fact that people hear things that they do or that they've done, and they don't want to hold themselves accountable. And their famous quote of "Only God can judge me." I'm not going to read anything out this Bible that talks about how about there being judges and about judgment. Yet, only God can judge you. Throwing my hands up. Now, I know people are like, we come from kings and queens. Had it ever occurred to anybody that there are Black people, Afro people, who are descendants of the actual true people who were committed to the law, righteousness, and upheld the law, even in the face of complete utter destruction and death? Do y'all understand that? Do y'all realize that their progeny still walks on this earth? Right. So having said that little piece that I said, I think it's a major thing that people do look at the laws for what they are, right? If you don't eat an animal that they call a pig, now that's called a swine, that scientifically, whether the scripture tells me or not, the so-called magic today says, hey, this animal has a flesh consistency likened to that of a person or a sub-person. I think, okay, now that being told to me from that point of view, they can they can graft your skin with it. They can do a lot of different things with the pig skin to your skin. Yet people eat it. They'll call a swine a bottom feeder, all kinds of things. Tell you how foul and how vile they are, how they'll eat a person. Yet people still consume this stuff. And I'm not even worried about Gentiles and what they do. I don't even care about what they do. I'm talking about the people who claim to be the people, yet still live outside of the most basic rubric. Think about that for a moment. You have a situation on our hands. We have a situation. I have a situation. You have a situation collectively on your, or my hands, where we're looking at it like this. Hey, there's literally a group of people who were claiming to be people out of a book, and almost not even half of them abide by what they say. Like, we're talking about, like, so here's my thing. A guy would be like, I won't eat pork, but I'm not getting circumcised. Other guys like, I'm circumcised, but I'm gonna eat pork anyway. Right. And their logic, both of these dudes' logic, comes from a part of the scripture that if you only followed what Paul said to do, your life might not be longer than 20 years. Because he's not telling you what not to do. And he's not telling you how to get right. Buzzkill, when the Christ said, come as you are. You know, Meech is a real life historian of sorts, right? History revisionist, if you will. And I always put things in the context in the time of when something takes place when I read the scripture. So when I read about Adam, I'm thinking about an earth that has not been flooded out and it's one whole piece. When I read about Noah, I think about one whole piece. When I read about after the flood, I think about one whole piece. Until we get to a certain junction in the bloodline, i.e., the sons of Eber. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because in the days of Peleg, the earth was divided. Peleg, whatever y'all want to call it. The point being this, I put it in context. So when the Christ said, come as you are, he didn't say, there is no Christ coming to the people in the full-blown kingdom when they're still able to make right with the Most High God. Do you understand that, my people? I mean, like, do you really actually grasp those kind of concepts? For real, for real. Like the ability that you have to know that you must pay your rent and pay your mortgage and pay your bills. Do you have the same understanding when it comes to that scripture? Right. So me having said that, those people had the ability to pay their mortgage, rent, and bills at a certain point in the kingdom. Even during the fall of the kingdom, they had a chance to get right. So when the Christ says, come as you are, he's talking to, for a want of better terms, a bunch of broke ass niggas. Buzzkill, I know. Here's my question. What's changed? Are there still not a bunch of broke ass niggas running around? Oh, yes, there are. That's funny, isn't it? That if we just look at it for base value, for what it's actually saying, and then look at the historical timeline, and don't get outside of it, and don't make it hocus pocus, and don't take one verse. I haven't taken any one of these verses out of context because I know what they said before and after that. So I'm not taking anything out of context. All I'm saying to you right now is that the same people who claim to be the believers are the same people who I can account to being the wise and or the foolish. Thank you. And how I know? Because Moses said what? Ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is aright in his own eyes. If people actually were doing the right thing, if the law was actually in your hearts like you think it is, like you claim it to be, you wouldn't have to been told those things. Your ancestors would not have had to been told those things. Right. Conceptualize this. When Moses is telling the people that they're going to wear the law around and do all these things, he's saying this to a group of individuals who, at that time, most of them can't even read. So who's going to write it down for them other than the priest and the actual truly literate of your people? Right. He's saying for you to have on your shirt, a man shall not lay with the man as with the woman, right on, and wear it every day because y'all think this dude up the road is funny like that. And he just so happened to be able to read. It's meant for that. But if you don't execute, guess what? It don't matter. Buzzkill, I'm sorry. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to be the bearer of the best kind of bad news. Okay? We don't have to amputate your leg, but you do have to lose weight. That kind of thing. And for anybody who thinks I'm tripping, let's just pick another law, random law. Okay, perfect one. There's a law that states we're not to wear garments that are with different colors, right? Okay. Funny thing about that, how many times have you seen somebody wearing different colors and look terrible while they did it? Oh, that's just me modernizing it on what I've seen. So you don't think somebody looked terrible back in the day wearing a bunch of different off-brand colors together? This shit is faded. This shit look fresh and brand new, and they looking crazy out there. Right. Also, because of what? Because of what happened with Joseph. Basic sense. It's to keep people from becoming jealous of you. That's what it's for. They all think that they know everything already. They're like, I got more than this nigga. Fuck am I listening to him for? I don't know. But I'll tell you this much. I'm a buzz kill myself. I'm a kill so many. Oh, I'm gonna kill all the buzzes. Let me just ask y'all a question. How you figure that somebody doesn't? Okay, so it's one thing for Afro people to be born in all these different regions of the earth. It's a whole nother thing when they all don't look the same, right? Okay, question though. So when the law says all this, I'm gonna get to some genealogy shit real quick. So when the law says things like, hey, and we're not even gonna talk about mating, we're gonna gloss over that. When the law says something like, and you shall not shave the corners of your beard, right? And it says that, right? It's corners. Follow me. Even if it was just a goatee, right? If that's what people call on a if that's the beard, imagine I didn't have any of this and this is all I grew right here, right? Boom, check this out. If that's a beard, the funniest thing is people shave that off. That's crazy, don't you think? I mean, think about that for half a moment. Now, okay, I get it. The Most High God shouldn't send you to hell for that, should he? So, what should he send you to hell for? That's see what I'm saying? The salvation on their term type of individuals. Okay, so the Most High God told the people how to maintain their wealth, which is to marry within the tribes that they were in. So that way their inheritance didn't go from one tribe to another. Stop right there. Give me one moment. You have people on the internet to this day that will fix their privy member sucking lips to say what? We need to find ways to accumulate and perpetuate and continuate and exacerbate uh generational wealth. Oh, that Pendleton tastes good. So if that's the case, but there was already people who were already put in that position, who already could have done it, who actually had already done it, and they were just totally disregardful. They just didn't give a fuck about nothing. Let's just say it like that. So everybody knows where I stand on it. Once again, these are not made for the babies. You are to be the translator of what I say, of what you think is the most pertinent things, and then you translate that to the babies. I'm not this. This dude, no. I'm here for the people that are grown and able to understand. For the young people that are about to be grown, so that way they're able to understand. For the derelict, I'm not here for them. For the dead, I'm not here for them either. And I mean the living dead. Right. I'm not. I just have to ask people these basic little things. So if a person is supposed to not engage in certain things like shaving their beard and cutting their hair, right? Right. I if I were to guess, because everybody didn't look the same back then, and to this very day, everybody doesn't look the same. Wow, what a mystery. I'm just sick and tired of it. It's disgusting and it's despicable and it's heinous. And they know it is. And they know it is. One of those words I used to use all the time. It's nonsensical, is what it is. Think about this just for half a minute, though. Yeah. Buzzkill. This is an introduction to better learning. Once again, this is how you learn better. You can't learn better if you're not practically applying what you know at the most base level. See, yeah. If people don't commit adultery, right? Guess what? If there was nobody sleeping around, nobody would ever get paternity test. Wow. Whoa. Didn't know you could fix it just by people having some discipline. I didn't know it worked like that. But that's just a base level thought. Now, see, once again, we didn't even got to talk about how people are going to look differently if somebody is birthing children that's not of a certain person and of another person, even if they look similar. Right. And people want to act like I'm tripping. Like, oh, this nigga's living an archaic life. I can't find it right here at this moment in the book of Enoch. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing, but I'm going to make my point by saying this. People are doing something that has been being done for as long as they've known about so-called civilizations and societies. They've been doing this stuff. And yet, ain't nobody saying that killing is outdated. What? Did you hear what I just said? These punk motherfuckers will fix their lips to say shit like that's outdated, that's archaic. Okay? That's from antiquity. Yet killing is outdated and old as fuck. Yet people do it every day and engage in it every day. So I don't understand how something like killing is okay, but keeping families together is not. Or maintaining a sense of this is a man and this is a woman is not. But they still killing, still raping and murdering, unjustified kill. People do get killed, and there are situations that are brought upon them that bring their own demise, as opposed to someone going out seeking to take their life in pure malice, i.e., you step on somebody's shoe and they stab you to death or they shoot you to death, as opposed to, i.e., you had an argument with somebody, they reached for a gun, so you wrestled it from them and shot them with their own gun. The two situations are different. Even though both result in the loss of life, the two situations are much different. Having said that, it's tiresome to be in a situation where I'm explaining stuff that people act like they know, but really they don't. They can't. The shit is old. People been killing for however long, and ain't nobody saying stop the killing for real. They'll say stop the shooting. We need to get rid of the gun. Stop the killing, period. Stop it. That shit is old as fuck. It's old as Cain is Abel. As far as I'm concerned, it's at least that old. And ain't nobody saying nothing about that. So I get tired of people trying to tell me that, these people were afraid to eat pork because they didn't cook it thoroughly. Okay, what about all the other adverse things that pork does to your health? Oh, well, these people didn't want to breed out because back then there was far less people on the earth, even though it's telling us about tens of thousands of people getting killed at one time. The shit don't add up. But yet they want me to sit here and act like I cannot be the true buzzkill that I need to be. I have to kill all that weak shit. I have to. It's weak. It's weak, it's trash, and it's garbage. Think about this just for half a second. The Most High God is so real that he acknowledges the presence of other gods. He's that real. He's also so real, he's like, look, but you're not going to worship them. You're going to worship me. Right. All he said was don't say their names and don't sacrifice to them, but don't even think about them. They're an afterthought. Right. And you have folks till this day will say, oh, Christians and this, Christians that. Okay, here's the problem with your limited perception, player, is that the people that are in the book before the Christians or ever thought about in history don't move the way that you're talking about. Right. They're always talking about misogyny. But here's what's crazy though. My God would have a man that rapes a woman to be put to death. This society will let that motherfucker walk free. Now tell me who's got it backwards. And to this day, they complain about and they bitched about, oh, what if a female gets raped and this, that, the third, and she can't get an abortion? But as opposed to saying that, how about you ask for these motherfuckers to kill rapists and get their asses all the way up out of here? Because I feel like they took my life when they raped me. Wow. Won't say that. Couldn't say that. But got the nerve to fix their privy member sucking lips to say some other bullshit. That's what I'm talking about. And it's lost on me. And I'm like, man, who the fuck are all these people? And where did they come from? Because there was a time when black niggas did not live like this. The internet must have done it to them. It had to have. These motherfuckers can't even wash and fold and iron their own clothes. And I didn't say crease them, just iron them, just to press them out where they look nice. Right. They can't even cook their own food. God is telling you how to prepare your own meals. He's telling you how long you should keep the food and everything. What do people do though? Instead of that, they'll go against what he has written there. He tells you, do not eat the blood of anything. What do people do in spite of that? No one better. They'll listen to a culture of sub people, not even a person to the Most High God. They're called Gentiles, but they're sub people, subhumans for all you believers in that term humans, a 13th century word, by the way. And you'll let some mongoloid tell you that eating half-cooked meat, undercooked meat, okay? You'll let them convince you into believing that eating half-cooked meat is healthy and good for your body. Well, white folks to this day and black folks to this day dying of colon cancer just from eating white bread, let alone all the red meat that's undigested in their bowels, killing their colon. Right. Right. Basic stuff. I'm a buzzkill, I know. I already know. Now, let me get down and dirty. Time for some drink. For all my people who think that sobriety is going to get you into heaven, guess what? It's not. For all my people who think that being a vegan is going to get you into heaven, guess what? It's not. Congratulations on your discipline. But now let me scold you for your disobedience. If Moses put it in the law, said this is what you're supposed to do, and you choose willfully not to do it, yet you say that you believe, some part of me has to believe that you really don't think that applies to you. Right. Oh, you want to be a vegan, but it says here to eat meat at these feasts. I'm sorry, player. Your personal desires do not outweigh the Most High God's intent and plan for you. Does you being a vegan make people not kill each other? Does you not drinking take drunk drivers off the road? No, sure don't. Sure don't. I'm on one right now. Rare form, baby. Rare form. I laugh. People are like, you smoke weed. I could just eat it if it was that serious. Then what? What you gonna say then? Eating it just like it's regular food, like a whole bunch of people do. Then what? Huh? What if I just infuse it with my food? Then what? Right. I just laugh. I could care what anybody does. I couldn't care less. If you're getting high on whatever every day, let that be the case. You better know how to hold it together. Better know how to keep your shit right. Otherwise than that, guess what? You know what I'm saying? You know? This is something. Nig man. Okay. But I'm just keeping it real. Can't nobody tell me that they really enjoying themselves. Nigga, you don't even eat lamb chops. How are you really enjoying yourself, player? There's not enough avocado cream, soy milk in the world, almond milk in the world for me to be satisfied with just being a vegan at this point on the earth. Seeing all this death and destruction, I'm sorry. That kind of discipline will make you go crazy and make you unhealthy internally. Right. Right. How are you really living and you won't even sip a glass of wine? Fuck taking a shot. This just might be me reverting back to some older shit because I'm feeling some type of way. I'm like, think about this. Follow this. I don't care if they're strangers. I don't care if they're the people. I don't care if they're just outright Gentiles. If they say, I love the Most High God and I want to follow his law, they should do all that is written in the most base form of the law to the best of their ability. Okay, I get it. A whole animal costs a lot of money. But if you think that you really believe in something, hit somebody up that you know and say, hey, how about me, you, and a few other people all put our pennies together and go buy a whole baby lamb, a whole baby goat? Right on? A kid. You see what I'm saying? Cook them, sacrifice, buy two of them. Buy one just to burn it to nothing, and then buy another one to cook and eat. Right. I'm serious. Why not? Who are they to stop you from worshiping the Most High God? But a lot of us are not in that position. See, this is the point that I'm making. If you don't live in a house, like I don't live in a house, the only way for me to do something like that would be for me to coordinate with the right people so that way the food doesn't go to waste. You see what I'm saying? Right? And they're like, well, you think God is going to bless you? Just use the money anyway. It's like the Most High God wants you to be practical and pragmatic. Okay? Right. Sojourner in the land does not mean broke at all times. That is not what the Bible does not have any there is no indication that we would be all the way poor all the time. Right. It's hard for people to believe that some of the slaves did that which was right. Lessen the burden of the curse for the next generation. And it's harder for people to believe that they may have had children that continue to do right. And here and there was those who fell by the wayside, went to the left and went to the right. But for the most part, they've been on a pretty more straight and more narrow path than not. There are not as many branches and as many side streets and alleys on their journey as there may be another family tree or another bloodline. And so my point being this, there are people that have been less burdened by the curses of the Most High God because they have lived less of a life that the curses are brought on by. It's just that simple. Now, the unfortunate thing is that they believe that that's something that they did, as opposed to them giving glory to the Most High God for him giving them the heart to be somewhat righteous. They think it's what they've done. And so therefore, they think it's on every other person whose heart is not all the way in the right place like theirs to do that which is right. And it's on them to show the people that which is right. But if you want to go learn a skill that's not a skill, what can you teach me? Nothing. See what I'm saying? That's how fast we go from you're teaching the people to you're actually really holding them back. My question is this. If and only if selling dope made people so much money, why are there so many broke ass drug dealers that have to come to niggas, regular people who have jobs? The same niggas they make fun of for being squares, they have to borrow money from them so they can re-up and get right. And here's the crazy part. They would be under less duress and less stress if they just worked 2 part-time jobs where they work 6, 7 days. You work all the time, all the time. All you do is work. That's all you do is work. You get a couple days every month to yourself. All you do is work. Right. But he got real skills. This nigga can put up walls. Okay. This nigga can put windows in. He knows how to install doors. He doing this shit with the leveler. He doing it right. Okay. He making sure everything is measured the right way. Dress right, dress. Okay. This brother can do a plethora of different construction activities that are not named carpentry. Okay. The man knows how to, let's say, mix mud, for example, right? He knows how to also lay that down, make sure it's level, make sure it's right. Okay. He might even be a lightweight something else on the side, lightweight painter, right? Might be a lightweight cook on the side, lightweight whatever, right? Instructor of some kind of fitness thing or just anything. Might play instruments. But these brothers are so far gone in their minds that the skills that they could get, they won't even go after them. Man, I've been at this job. This is real life, y'all. I've been at this job making bread and doing all kinds of stuff, right? Like cooking like my own stuff. And I've been slowly getting the owner to recognize like we can cook everything in house and we can bring the cost down so I can get paid more money. And that's exactly how that's what I've been saying. I want to get paid. I want to help you save money so I can get paid the money that you're saving pretty much. A nice chunk of it. Right. That's how you negotiate. But these brothers don't even understand how to do that because guess what? They've never had to negotiate because, like I said, they come from a bloodline where, for the most part, they haven't done as much as other people would do to be stuck within the curses. But let me ask y'all a question, though. How much more forgiveness does the murderer deserve than the adulterer? Than the adulterer, than the rapist? Than the rapist, than the liar? Than the liar to the thief? Okay? You see what I'm saying? Like, at what level do you say they deserve to be forgiven? At what level do you say that they don't? I'm not trying to be a buzzkill. I am, but I don't want to kill. I just want y'all to recognize that even when you say shit like come as you are, you're still out of pocket and you're way out of place and you're way out of context. If I came as I am today, right now, today, all the sinning that I know that I've done and all the things that are unrighteous desires in my heart, I can speak and I can tell y'all that because I'm your brother. That means that I have to be willing to be judged based on that. I may have righteous desires in my heart, but I have to speak to the unrighteous things as well. What they are, I'll keep to myself. But to know that there are things that would have me in some serious trouble, not just with the Most High God, just with the law in general, right on? You know what I mean? Shit like that. Where it's like, yeah, way I'm feeling right now, I'm feeling real indignant. And I ain't gonna do nothing to nobody, but right. Be angry, but sin not. I can get as angry as I want to get. I can feel, I have the right to feel whatever the fuck I want to feel. Think whatever the fuck I want to think. That ain't no crime. It's a problem when you act on that bullshit. But as far as me feeling and thinking whatever the fuck I want to think and feel, if I'm pissed off and angry because these bitch niggas gave me an ERPO and the crime is out of control, and I feel like shit, they should just put me on the streets and just let me do what I want to do. Let's see if we can't bring the crime back down. Let me stop. That kind of shit. Because it's like y'all so afraid to do your job. I'll do it for you. But that's the difference, though. It's like I'm really there in my mind. Other people haven't been vexed the way I've been vexed, and they haven't been pressured the way I've been pressured. They can't even understand. And I try to relate. I try to see their situation through the lens of their life and try to say, if I was in that situation, based on how I think how they take information in and how they live in certain circumstances, how would I abide if I was them? Would I be any different? Would I be able to think? Because you can say how you think, but you're you. So you have that mind. God gave you that chemical balance and that makeup and that molecular structure. Okay, that atomic and subatomic structure to do that. That your collective energy within you could achieve those thoughts that you alone achieve, even if someone else has a similar thought. I've always thought, what would I do if I was them? Thinking the way that they think. Would I be able to think how I think, even for just a moment, to see it another way? Or are they doomed to seeing it just this distinct way? Think about how crazy that is. See, there's individuals who will say, oh, I learned something today. But maybe you didn't learn anything. Maybe you were confirmed. Maybe you achieved confirmation today. Right. But I can't think for you. So I can't tell you that you didn't learn something and that it was confirmed for you. Because it may have been something that you already thought about, but because my way of expressing myself is different from their way of expressing themselves, they won't say that it was confirmation. They'll say that it was it was a learning experience. Whereas they may have learned something in particular, but the thought alone, they may have thought something very similar, if not the exact same thought. Only the way that they think it, the way that they can express it to themselves. Once again, what does that say? Ye shall not do after all the things that we do here this day. Every man whatsoever is aright in his own eyes. What does that second one say? And now I swear unto you, to the wise and to the foolish, for ye shall have manifold experiences on the earth. Stop right there. Those two things are saying, those are different words, but it's the same thing. It's so deep. It's so deep. If y'all could, I wish I could tell y'all how I think and how I perceive it. But those two things to me are the same. Right. You doing that which is right in your own eyes, how is that any different from you being a fool or you being wise and then doing what the fool and the wise would do because they have manifold experiences? If you have similar experiences and everybody is doing that which is right in their own eyes, is their experience not the same? Oh, come on. See, they can't even, they're not hanging with me. They can't. I want them to, but all they want to do is abscond information and use it for personal gain. When I have to let them know that they're doing nothing any different than anybody ever before them. They're not doing anything different. They think Facebook is special. They think Instagram is special. They think TikTok is special. Y'all don't think that there were devices or that there were ways that people tried to capture their likeness back in the day? You really don't believe that? Really, y'all really don't believe that at all? You don't believe that there was anyone anywhere that could have had ways of making it to where crystals could collect the image and keep it ever at any time in history? Never. There could have never been a way where people could have communicated using water, using wind, using anything else at a very high functional level. It's impossible, huh? Only because you haven't seen it done, it's impossible. Same people will fix their lips to say things like there's no new thing under the sun. And y'all know my greatest pushback on that. The man who came with that, indeed, had not done all that there was to do. He was merely saying that all things that have been done under the sun, there is no thing new. So the fact that I'm able to look at you right now, or excuse me, you look at me, and it's one-sided. It's like one of those crystal balls in the movie where people can see, they can see and hear, but the other person can't. Right. And the real crystal ball is where we have the spleen script. If I had a StreamYard or something, I could easily pay for that. That's the real crystal ball. But this is a one-sided one where you can hear me and see me, but you can interact. I can look at the crystal ball and see the graven messages that you leave for me. Come on, y'all don't hear me now. This is deep. All this shit is magic. All of it. There is no new thing under the sun. So for these individuals to try to get you to believe that people didn't try to like record themselves killing a major animal or doing like some kind of so-called stunt. People have been doing crazy stuff for a long time. I wouldn't even say people have been doing things that are thoughtless. It's very thoughtless, reckless. You could say it's thoughtful because they thought it up, but it's thoughtless in the sense of they didn't think it all the way through. You clearly didn't think this all the way through. I know I'm not the only one in my life. I've done things where I'm like, I did not think this all the way through. There's no way I did. I'm here at this point and we're not even halfway done and I'm already fucked. So it's like, yeah, the next time, if there's a next time, we got to do this way differently. I've been there. I know what that's like. So for people who don't know what that's like, I'm trying to give them my life experience and without laying out all the things that I had to go through to get to that conclusion. Right. That's a fair thing. That's the honest thing to do. I'm not saying that you wanting to do what you do is a problem. I'm saying that if you do what you want to do, You can't be angry at the results that you get from the Most High God. You have to accept it. At some point, you have to say, you know what? This is what I deserve. Even if this is not what I asked for, everything I've done has conjured or manifested, has accrued and accumulated unto this very thing. So there is no way that I can capitulate or acquiesce or surrender uh, my activity because it's too late. As I keep going, I just have to speak to that fact of this is a concept that is very old. Buzzkill is not a new concept, but what I'm talking about is the way that I'm presenting it to you today. No one talks about these things the way that I speak on them in the fashion that I speak to them. They'll tell you that God can't save you, Jesus can't save you. Okay. At the other side of the net, they'll tell you that white folks are the devil. Then go to the same white folks to have them to heal them. Think about that. Then we'll go to their own people who would use heathen understanding and heathen practices to make them better. Ain't nothing like it. And I might be the only person who can see it and understand it at that level in my circumstance. See, people feel like it's a rejection if you don't get a certain level of attention, but it's not. It's called exclusivity. And I would rather what I'm saying be exclusive to the people who are searching for that sort of information and not just for any and everyone. I'm not here to entertain anyone. I'm not here so that way they can get their daily fix. I'm not here for any of that. Most people don't even listen to the entire message that I say. So it's like, why would I waste my time doing something every day for them to cut me short and to not hear the bread of what it is that I'm trying to share with them? Right. You won't even hear the fullness of it. And yet you want me to share all these little things. It really is amazing. Like, I mean, if you're in my position, you'd have to just be like, it's crazy. It's absolute madness. But it's okay though. May I ask y'all this before I get ready to roll out in the next couple minutes? What are y'all gonna do? Hmm? When the Most High God is to make an example out of the nation that's made an example out of his people, are you gonna stand up for that nation that's made an example out of his people, or are you guys gonna get out the way? Will you even know the difference? Right. I don't talk out of both sides of my. I don't be like, oh, America's going down. This is the worst thing ever. Uh, uh. And then on the other side, well, the Most High God, He's gonna do what He does, and we just got to be ready for it. I could have sworn somebody, somewhere in the Bible says something about if you try to save yourself, you would die, right? But if you pretty much sacrificed yourself for the cause, then you would live forever, right? So, which is it? Do they or don't they believe in the Most High God? This is a viable question. It deserves to be asked. Yes, it does. One moment. Deserves to be asked. Think about that. You got folks out here talking about, hey, we deserve reparations. But yet they're, and at the other side of the neck, they'll say, man, this is white supremacy. And they racist and they evil. Okay, so here's the thing. You're gonna beg them to death. You're gonna guilt trip them into giving you reparations, huh? And then you're gonna take the low end of the value of the people. You're gonna determine what each family gets, even though you've been a scourge to society and to your people your entire life. Think about that. Let me tell y'all something. Before me, there was no one talking about how we should be looked at differently than all other diaspora of individuals on the earth who look a similar or not even us similar. They just are associated with us. Me. I said Pan Africanism was dead years ago. I got a death of a doctrine on it. I got all. Listen, man, it's crazy. It took these individuals years to catch on. It's going to be too late by the time they start to really see what they need to do. Because people don't forget it. People don't forget when you make fun of the Most High God. People don't forget when you pretty much invoke the name of another entity, not being the Most High God. No one knows his name that's on this earth. Not his real name, not his true name. What they know is a corrupted form. What they know is a corrupted name in a corrupted form from a corrupted people. They don't know his real name. And they can say whatever, whatever, whatever. Did he come from heaven and speak it to you himself? Yes or no? Because if he did, I got to hear this story. But if he didn't, like I'm pretty sure he didn't, then you're gonna have to keep it real and capitulate, surrender, acquiesce, give in, give up, wave the white flag. Yes. And say, you know what? I'm wrong. I'm wrong. The name that I call him is not that name. And I don't know what I think I thunk I know. What I do know is that I need to do my best to get right. Am I telling people to go back and listen to my videos all the time? I said, no, certain videos I want you to listen to so you can see what I was saying back then. But really, I just want you to read the scripture yourself. And if you don't understand it, call a brother, email a brother, right on, and then see what's popping. Hit me up right here, you know what I'm saying, in the comments, and then but if you've already heard my take on the matter, it won't be any different in a phone call. I don't believe anything else extra or different than what I tell you. The things I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you. It's not for you to know. It's G14 classified, and I'm sorry, your pay grade is not high enough. That's the way it goes. The people should be grateful that I told them that Shem, Ham, and Japheth were triplets. The people should be grateful that I said that Eve is a clone. The people should be grateful that I distinguished a distinct genealogy of people who must have looked a specific way and brought to their attention the question of no matter what Sem, Ham, and Japheth look like, where did everyone else come from? because their theories on genosis is incorrect. The idea that one can migrate and change their visage after generations of mating within their own genealogy and they will look different is a lie. Now, obviously, with the help of over a dozen people from late 2015 till now, I'm talking about like a dozen real ones. Some of them I still talk to, some of them I don't. But the impact that they had will be nonetheless forever felt when I speak about particular topics. It's just the way it is. The Most High God did not give me this mind so I could waste it trying to get paid. Retards get paid, y'all. So what does getting paid mean? Little children got channels on YouTube where they're getting paid. So what does getting paid mean? Right. Anybody can secure the bag. A fucking dog, a cat, and a iguana can secure the bag for you. So what does it mean to get paid? I'd rather do something that means something to me, get less than what I know I deserve, and know that God sees and knows my struggle. They can't live like that because they ain't built like that. They've got to have the finer thing. You know what the finer things in life are? I'm gonna show you. Right there. Woo! Some Bombay too. It's some fire. I'm gonna kill this ball. Thank you. A finer thing in life. Wanna know why? Everybody with money is not healthy enough to even smoke. Some of them just cannot smoke. It'll kill them, or it'll put them in serious fucking, you know, dire straits. Right. I'm not allergic to anything. If I want to eat nasty ass shrimp, I can. If I want to eat nasty ass pork, I can. If I want to eat rabbit, if I want to eat crocodile, if I want to eat snake, I can eat all that shit if I so choose. Right. Everybody's body can't take everything. Right on? Is this what the Messiah was talking about when he was saying that his people can fucking resist poison and shit? Because I know niggas who grow full blown beards and everything, afros and all that shit, and are allergic to things. Right. I know people without all that. I know a bunch of white folk who I'd have met, bearded and not bearded. A lot of them be bearded and be allergic to all this shit. They can't eat. I can't have this. I can't have that. I can't have this. I can't have that. Can't even eat it. Looking like a lumberjack. Right. There's no thing is off limit to me, other than things that no living thing can have and survive. And I'm pretty sure even those things, the right things in the right circumstances, I can probably withstand better than a lot of people. Not that I'm trying to find out. But just to let y'all know, one time I was cleaning up a pile of piss and I had poured bleach on it without even thinking about it. Right on. And piss has ammonia in it when it's not diluted with water. So when people are dehydrated, their piss is full of concentrated ammonia. And I poured bleach on it before I could even think about it. It started smoking, and I had to get up out of there. Right on. That shit's mustard gas. You know what I'm talking about? That shit'll kill you. You breathe too much of that shit, and you out of here. Right? You can create that on accident. Right. I'm just throwing that out there. And I'm outside. I'm all the way outside when I had did this shit. Right on. This is a while ago. But it's just the fact that it could even happen. That just tells you everything. Word? Because I had happened to, bring it up to somebody and they were like, yeah, dude, that's mustard gas. And I was like, oh shit. Hadn't even thought about it. Right. Right. This is why you're not supposed to mix chemicals and all kinds of stuff. Why do you think you're supposed to have actual, true G- G- genealogy based segregation? You're not supposed to mix things. Right. So the chemical combustion that you see from different volatile chemicals, right, or one that's not volatile and then one that isn't, but when they're brought together, they become completely unsustainable, right? It's no different with all that stuff. If the people's bodies is meant to take it, it can take it. If it's not, it's not. My body is meant to take so much. I can take so much. But I'm gonna die just like anybody else will die. Obviously, one day I got to get up out of here. But outside of that fact, I can die like anybody else can die in the interim, outside of old age or so-called natural causes. Right. This is the truth. I'm not trying to be the buzzkill, but I have to be. The Most High God didn't. He couldn't. He could afford it, but then he'd have to kill everybody because probably nobody would have been right in their mind to do the right thing. Like people would have willfully been fucked up. I need y'all to really understand what I'm saying. Like it's only because the Most High God wants people to know what they know that they know it. Do y'all get that? Like I don't know like everything that I've ever known is because He needed me to know it for whatever reason. And the more I start to unravel this present that I've been given, this gift of mine, I'm not gonna say I get scared, but I do get alarmed because I just see like He's like, I want more from you than I want from the rest. Like I want more from you than I want from all these other guys because no matter what these other individuals say, they know who I am and they know the fact that I stand for what's right. That's what bothers them because I do put God first and I'm not afraid to put Him first. And I'm not afraid, just like somebody would try to kill me for believing in the Most High God, I'll kill them because they want to kill me. And first and foremost, because they don't believe. Right. Not just because you want to take my life, but nigga, because you don't believe you deserve to go anyway. So it's just like it's that simple. And people want to get mad at me, but I keep it 100,000. I live in a building. I don't live outside. Somebody built this building. How crazy would it sound if I said that nobody built this? I need y'all to really understand what I'm trying to get at right now. I'm here to kill the buzz. How how illogical, how sick, like for real, like how mentally disturbed would y'all think I was if I was talking to you on this laptop and I was like, nobody built it. It just exists. It just exists. And it's not, there's no such thing as inventions. There's no such thing as craftsmanship. All that shit is make believe. How crazy would I sound? Right, I would sound completely out of my fucking mind. So how crazy do you think people sound to somebody like me who can accept craftsmanship at this level? And when I look at it from just, I can't even see it at a global level. I can only see it at the level that I live in the state that I live in every day. But where I live, I'm seeing it right on. And the level that I'm seeing it at is telling me that that someone built this. That someone built the earth. That someone took the time. The Most High God is that someone and that something. He is someone. He took the time to cultivate the forces needed for each specific task that the continuity of all things could happen forever. Like, I don't even think people even understand that. Right. So, whether you want to say that the earth was already here and he stumbled upon it, or it's just one of many creations, I really don't care what people think because I'm here. That's what I know. Number one. Number two, because he he's so smart and so intelligent and so wise that whatever materials were on the earth is what he was able to create life with. Right on? Like what was naturally here. How we know that is because he says that he took man and he created man out of the dirt. Now, the first man, I I I don't know if he's created out of the dirt because his name is not Adam and he's something else and he's something different. But imagine that he is. Or imagine even more so that he's not. He's created from another substance of the earth, something more flesh like, I don't know, more life to it, still formable. We would never know because we have yet to see the true potential of the earth. It doesn't say what the first animals were created out of. It doesn't say that the Most High God took them from out of the earth. Right. Right. So the Most High God could have done a plethora of things to create the first man, i.e., as in taking the flesh from one thing and then making the man out of that thing, or a multitude of things. There's no way of knowing. I'm a buzzkill. See, I'm the kind of person who's like, I don't believe in hocus pocus. I believe in straight up like logical information, like things that make sense and in order. So the Bible has written that first the earth is discovered, or that the Most High God creates the heavens and the earth, and that is all water. So that means that water surrounds everything. So that means that the basis to all life before you talk about anything is actually water. And it's not light like they say it is. Light is a igniting force to helping life, but life was always able to be present on the earth, but it needs the light to live. It is a necessity and must have. Whereas in the case of the sun and the moon, the sun and the moon were not dictate for vegetation. Do people even like realize that? They weren't like they weren't dictate for that? Right. They're regulators of the night and the day. I'm My assumption is that the Most High God didn't like it being completely dark at night and completely bright at day. He wanted there to be some sort of, I don't know if he knew that it would make people go blind or hurt their eyes, whatever, but he's so wise, he knows everything, right on, that whatever it is that he didn't like about it, I want to say it was the third day or the fourth day, he came through and said, "Yeah, I'm going to make the sun now." So when that happens, after that happens, we have our first water creatures. Right on? This is just basic information. But the most basic thing is that you have a food source and then living animals. Now, it doesn't, now, once again, for them to come up out the water, you know they don't come from the dirt. So, this is why when people don't understand what I'm saying about the two different creations, I'm like, yo, the first people may be built out of something totally different. I've been saying this for years, y'all. But my logic is not tainted. It's not conclusive enough for you guys. I get it. But it's conclusive enough for me because it's my mind. So, you know, obviously I've already drawn my own conclusions. Still, having said that, my willful ability to engage in thought that is contrary to what I believe allows for me to see these things differently. Um, so when you have the people being created now, note everything that was created, all but the man is mentioned directly to having a living soul. Then when Adam man is created, he's mentioned as to not having a living soul. I mean, he's mentioned to having one. Excuse me. The first people do not have one, and Adam man has one. Correct myself. Anyway, yeah, not a Freudian slip. That was just my mind moving too fast. However, the fact that you have Adam man being created with a soul constitution, as I used to say all the time, right? Soul constitution is what made him different. How I know that he's different is because it's not believable that the angels bred with his bloodline directly, but directly with the bloodline of the very first people. Now, most folks try to say that when Seth went and bred with the regular people or the other people, whoever was on the earth, that he's the one that created giants. But that's not true because Cain was born before Seth by roughly as much as 130 years. I mean, as little as 130 years, as much as 230. So why I can come with that date is because there's no telling how long Adam was in the garden, and he was never a child. So if everything happened like quickly and like rapidly, even if you say it happened within a year, he and his children that would have come from his body, that he was made into an adult man. Think about this. He was never a baby. So his his physical stature is greater than that of his children, but his actual true life age was not that much greater than Cain or Abel's. I need y'all to really get that. This is deep now. So when Abel goes to have a wife and children, it doesn't say how old Cain and Abel are. We could assume that Cain had children or more children before Adam has Seth, before he copulates with Eve again. I'm trying to give people the game. I'm not trying. I'm literally giving it away for free. And people think I should be charging for it. And it's like these guys are ill and they're sick. Think about that. Go and read it. I'm not gonna read it. I done read it twice already. All that stuff. Go and read it yourselves. If I'm tripping, tell me. It doesn't say in the day when Adam was created in the fifth chapter of the Genesis that Adam and a female, male and female, he made them. And what's funny about it is that people would believe that it's talking about Genesis chapter 1, but it's not. It's talking about Adam. In the day in which Adam was made, it exclusively says that the 7 days had already taken place, that the earth had not rained yet. Does it ever say that it rained on the earth and all the days of like all the days of creation? Does it ever say that it rained in any of those days? Think about it before you say yes. Right. Think about that. So it's dictating that the earth was made, and that in all the days that it was made, the earth had not been rained on. Right. So I can conclude that the reason why Gentiles, oh, I'm about to hit y'all with the super duper buzzkill. The reason why Gentiles can be so many of these different things mixed in with these animals is that the first man may be a consortium of different things himself. So when the angels breed with it, right on, his children, ultimately, they're able to be broken down differently genetically than the other people are. Right. It's been thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of foolery taking place. So it's hard for anyone to see it now because in 2 generations, your whole bloodline could be wiped out if you do it wrong. But I'm talking about at the very beginning. And the fact that people still look just like me now, and there's depictions of people who look just like me thousands of years ago, it tells me everything that I need to know. That my people are not Gentiles, and that there are people that are Gentiles that can look similar to us, almost just like us, virtually just like us. Wow. Now that's something to think about. Or they have the bloodline within their bodies, excuse me, to exclusively create Gentiles, I should say. Right. There's a reason why so many of them claim the same name and look way different, but they all speak the same language. If I say the Eritrean and the Ethiopian, even though they're named people, that their children became Gentiles, it would be hard for them to argue that. It seems very logical, but I have to keep things like that to myself. But today, I ain't keeping it to myself. I'm just going to let you know what it is. Right. hmm That the Gentile is what? Okay, what am I saying? It's that the Bible is is where they got evolution from. Once again, if it tells you that all the animals that started on earth came out of the water, and then there was birds of the sky, right? Right? I mean birds of the water, right? Okay. So that means that if there's birds that are in the water, surely they can fly onto land, right? And do whatever they want. Surely if there's lizards in the water, right? Or reptiles of the sea, surely they can come on land too if they're able, right? So it tells you that whatever was in the water that came up out the water. However, the Most High God created all these other things. Oh, this is deep now. You're wondering why so many different animals have what they call a similar gene sequence, similar genome sequence. Oh, it gets deep, doesn't it? Right. Why couldn't the Most High God have taken certain animals and spliced them together and created other animals? Why not? He's the Most High God. How else would he know what's clean and unclean? Because this animal is still closest to its original form, and this animal is not. This animal has been changed to a ferocious beast or a vicious bottom feeder. Right on? Lions, tigers, bears, kites, vultures, hawks, ravens, eagles, crows, all that stuff. Anything that you can think of that has a certain nature that's unclean, I can break it all down. Don't worry. I already thought about all of this stuff, yo. I thought about it. Right. This is how they were able to make Gentiles in the first place. Even if people are like, they didn't breed with animals. I'm like, okay, so let's just follow y'all baseline understanding of how genetics work. That's them admitting that they come from a group of individuals who were not made from the earth. Oh, y'all ain't hearing me. I'm saying that the reason why a certain bloodline of people were on the earth is because some of them may have been kept on the earth as the wives of certain men. Mm. And when they did and do come up out of the earth, that's right, they have a certain genomic uh, sequence that is compatible to a certain degree. Those who are most related to a certain bloodline are going to be most easily changed or transfused into something different. This is deep. This is why people be wondering, like, How could it be that these individuals look this way and they only bred one generation or two generations out with a certain kind of people, and these people still look the same, and they've been doing whatever they want for who knows how long? Right. It's because the genome sequence is different than that of the one that is possibly born or bred and made of all these different things, as opposed to the one that's made out of the earth. They ain't dealing with me, y'all. And it's not the chronic talking. That's just me giving you the things I would not normally tell you. Right. That means that the animals that were made out of the earth, that Adam named, have a stronger genealogy than those that were made from something that has a spliced genome. But the spliced genome animal may stick stronger to its genetic course than something that has a stiff genome. I'm gonna give y'all a prime example. Now, a giraffe is called a camel leopard in the Bible, right? So what that means to me is that it has the genomic value of a camel and a leopard. It's clean to eat. Just throwing that out there. Giraffe, as I like to call it. Now, let's think of another animal that's pure, more pure in nature, but will breed out indiscriminately. A horse, right? Right? Is what it is, but it will breed with an ass to make a mule. Wolves are, despite what people think, a wolf and a dog are actually separate genomes. They're different animals. They just look similar. Okay? So you have this situation where um, because they look the same or people think they're the same, they believe that, but they're not. And they can breed, right? And make babies. And a wolf can breed with any animal that's a canine like animal, or what we call canines. They're dog like. Right. Exactly. So for people to try to say, oh, this, that, and the third, man, that's a lie. It's actually proof in the way that we see everything today. You have people who breed specific animals, like dogs and like horses, and sell them. Right. They have a specific pedigree and a bloodline that can be proven. People have to know, and they're ready to pay top dollar. But yet, as another species, us being in our purest form is not as important to us for whatever reason. And then we get upset when we see a diluted version of ourselves. Some of us get excited, some of us love it, but some of us get upset because we're like, that's not who we really are. And one day soon, they're going to be trying to act like those are us. Like, that's who we are. But that's not who we are. That's not how we came here looking. We look like this, darker and lighter when we first got here. Don't ever let them tell you that black people got lighter when they came to America. They want you to believe that. And they'll tell you, oh, because the white man has been all over that continent. That's the reason why so many people over there are light skinned now. It's like, man, y'all so full of shit. I mean, to maintain any lie. This is why they've gone all the places that are inhabited and done what they've done, so that way they could muddy your understanding. That there was people who already looked a certain way before they got here. They can say whatever they want to say, but how did they explain dark-skinned people in India who have bone straight hair? How they explain those guys, huh? With beards and without them. How did they explain them? How they explain those individuals who live like that in places in Africa? Huh? How do they explain individuals like that who live in places that they consider Asia to this day? How do they explain that to individuals who live in places that they consider South America, Central America to this day? How do they explain that to individuals who've been in this country and have ancestry that dates back to slavery? Ah, right. And they've been looking like that probably the whole time. Right. Because back then they would have known who they were. and segregated themselves and bred only with their people, and some of them would have bred out and blah 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 blah. But y'all get what I'm saying? This shit is deep. But yet they'd have you to believe anything. And yet, even though genealogy is on earth, genealogy is the earth. Think about this. The earth produces all these different genomic values that were already here, or that the Most High God put into. I don't know how the earth and how the heavens is created, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's here. You dig it? Genealogy is the soil, for the soil to recreate itself, to continuously do what it does, so that way vegetation can grow. Okay? Genealogy is the water, so that way it's not a vapor or one singular drop, but it can't even be measured. Right. Genealogy is the grass and the trees that grow and the things that come from it. That's genealogy before you even talk about men. Right. Genealogy is the animals that are what they are by their specific groups. Come on, man. Are y'all hearing me? Then we get to people. And that's one genealogy. Then you have another genealogy of people. Then you have the mixture, and that's another genealogy. Then you have the angels coming down, the aliens, the Anunnaki, whatever you want to call them. Then that's another genealogy, mixing with all these genealogies that were already mentioned, or that were aforementioned. Right? See what I'm saying? It's that deep. I'm not here to be the buzzkill, but I have to be. I know nobody wants to do this job. I do it because it must be done. Why must it be done? Because it must. If I don't say it, then no one will say it. Because no one might understand. There might not be another person to understand all these things in conjunction the same way that I do, who can explain it the same way that I do. What are they going to say? Oh, he doesn't grow a beard. But I do. Oh, his hair is not curly. But it is. His skin's not brown. But it is. Right. Just because my beard don't grow up to my eyes don't mean I don't grow no beard now. Just because I ain't got the 70s fro because my hair is, not cooperating with a player, getting a little thin in a couple places, don't mean that it wasn't right like that at one point. Okay? Just because I'm not always dark these days like I used to be in the camera sometimes, because I was way darker in a bunch of older videos. Yeah, because it's always be outside, be in the sun, because that was my job. Right. I'm still me though. I'm still that nigga who cares about his people with all his heart. You know what I'm saying? All his mind and all his soul. I love y'all. But I love the Most High God even more. But I have to love y'all so much so that way he knows that I really do love him. Because I could say that, but I could not show that. And then I would be no different than the individuals I was speaking on earlier who want salvation on their terms. Everything is all good except for when it comes down to what they're supposed to do. But they make time to do everything else. Right. That's my point. So you make time to enjoy the family that God gave you, but won't do everything that God asked you to do. You take time to go to the job and work your hardest and your best at the job that God allows you to have, but you don't show him the true penance by showing your people love. Right on? And I'm talking about, once again, if a nigga can get on the internet and make videos, they really only so many of those people really truly do need the money because they physically cannot go to work. But if they can take their ass to work and work, okay, like somebody who has an able body, uh-oh, They don't need your money. They just want it, and they don't want to have to go out and go do crazy shit to go do it. And then they want to say that they're part of the new age. And people who are supporting them are going to say, well, I'm supporting the new age. But really, you're just supporting another individual who's found another lane that might not benefit me and you the same way. It might even benefit you better or me better. But it's just like, I'm good on that. Like I said, what good are you? I mean, like, you can learn skills on YouTube, but these are people who learn skills already. They already have the skill. You don't just get skills because you want them. You have to practice them for them to manifest. Once again, so for you to get salvation, you'd have to do the things that require salvation for that to manifest. You don't just get to go to heaven or, oh, God's going to forgive me because I'm going to ask for forgiveness or because I asked for forgiveness. How do you know that? Why not just do some of the things that he asked you to do so that way you know you're like, I'm good. I'm doing it. Can't nobody say I'm not doing this stuff. Like I said earlier, though, I'm worried about my salvation. So if you think you doing what you're doing now, once again, you better put in your mind all the things that have put you in the position that you're in. Don't tell yourself any lies. Don't embellish. Don't use hyperbole or none of that. If somebody helped get you into the door where you're at, know that somebody helped get you into the door. If you got yourself into the door, know that you got yourself into the door. But all the little things that come before that, make sure that you get the totality of them before you say something too wild and too reckless. Because guess what? All that you think you know to do that is right. If I'm not going to two different parts of the Bible to get the shit that I'm talking about. I'm talking about what's just written in the first 5 books that's known as the Tanakh, that's known as the Torah, that's known as the Torah, and that's known as the Pentateuch. Okay? Excuse me. I'm not going anywhere. I can just keep it to 5 books. And if somebody's willing to go against those things, I know that there's something wrong with them. They're like, oh, and whatever your reason is, you don't have to smoke weed like me or drink liquor. But I would advise for you to do the stuff that the Most High God tells you to do. Because how else are you gonna know? Right on? A person who doesn't drink doesn't know when people have had enough. Right on? I know when somebody's had enough. 2 drinks before they had before you think they've had enough, you cut them off 2 drinks before that. That's a real professional right there. Right on? Nobody dies on my watch, and people don't get DUIs on my watch. People say I go to this other place because they serve me as much as I want, and I say that place, people get killed there. People fucking get on the road, kill other people. People get on the road and get DUIs. Here, that doesn't happen because we cut you short, shy 2 drinks, and we're not charging you an ass, arm, and a leg. We're just looking out for you. See, once again, they don't know. I know things like that. It's not all about the money because I want to see you again. Because that's how I know that I'm going to really get paid. You come in here one time, that's cool. But if you come in here 100 times over the next course of the year, that's even better. Right on? You got to think. But nobody's helping the people think because, once again, on their terms, they don't have to do any of that. I got a good job. My shit is good. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But there's people that eat swine. And once again, the wise and the foolish are going to have manifold experiences. You can be wise in one moment and be foolish in the next. So can I. So can any man. Right. The difference between somebody being wise, right, in a perpetual order and somebody being foolish in perpetual order is the sort and type of decisions that they make in a continuous order. Right. If somebody's doing no better than I do and I drink and I smoke weed, right, what are they talking about? They're like, but I'm doing way better than him. But we all know a bunch of dirty, racist ass motherfuckers that are doing way better. So what does that mean? Once again, what does getting paid mean, y'all? Man, I'm the one to verse this shit to you because I care about you and I love the people. What does that really mean? Is the stranger ready to stand up and say, hey, I'm the stranger and I'm getting tired of seeing the people be evil. So I'm separating myself from the people just as a stranger that's righteous. Cause y'all ain't cause y'all don't want to be righteous. It's a guy named Reluctant Nabi. And I'm gonna tell y'all something about this individual. And I laugh. Cause this dude knew nothing about my life, right? And told me one time, because I was talking to him, and cuz used to always try to like come at me like sideways, right? And so I was like, man, I'm just trying to like, find common ground with you and relate. You know what I mean? He was like, you could never be like me. I had a family taken from my capable hands. He was like, you could never find common ground with me. Yo, when he said that to me, I was like, see, it's funny because he doesn't grow a whole lot of heavy facial hair. He's just a big, tall, dark black nigga. But he came at me so crazy that I was like, see, look at this dude. He's acting crazy where I can still embrace you. Maybe not as the people all the way, but I can still embrace you and have love for you. But you would rather talk wild and reckless to somebody who is actually trying to meet with you on common ground. Right. Right. And this dude was talking about the Most High this, the Most High that, and he was trying to tie Aboriginal, indigenous people into the Bible. These dudes working wickedness, right? Once again, the reason why I don't want people who, if you don't fit the descript, don't go out there doing way too much because let's say you meet somebody who understands, like, yo, it says this and this in the Bible. So where's yours at? Or why are you wearing different color clothes and it tells you not to do that? Once again, how do you know what a person knows what the Bible says? You walk up to them eating shrimp shrimp fried rice, right on shrimp chow mein, whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Pork fried rice or some dumb shit. And they're like, what are you eating? And they're like, yeah, you're not even supposed to eat that. And you're trying to tell me about the Bible. It's like you don't ever know who you're gonna roll up on, and you're never gonna know what they know. So you have to treat it like as if I'm gonna follow and abide by all these things, and I'm gonna know how to use the scripture, not to reinforce or to supplement me wanting to run around and be drunk, right? Or me doing anything like that. No, it's about me being able to say, hey, this is written here. I'm abiding by it the best way that I know. It doesn't say stay home and drink. It just says don't be a drunkard, right on? And don't take it with you when you go out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it says. Right. There were very high light-skinned people among the people way back in the day. Some were albinos and just some people who were just, you know, those uh those rare genetics from Noah percolating all throughout the people. Just, proof that he indeed was and is as it was written. A man that whose skin was whiter than snow and redder than a rose. He looked completely different. And he had a head full of hair when he was born. He was born with locks, what y'all call dreadlocks. He was born with those. Right. Noah looked completely different than anybody else ever born. And I'm betting that I can't guarantee it, but I don't think Noah ever cut his hair. I think Noah had long hair his whole life. Locks his whole life. Right. You can say he cut his hair, but you don't know that. I know he was born with them. That's all I'm gonna say. You can say he trimmed them to keep him from falling on the ground or dragging or something like that or whatever. But yeah, yeah, he looked completely different than everybody. People don't even appreciate that. Look, I'm about to get ready to get up out of here. This is why I have to do these things, because the buzzkill is gonna be me picking a couple different little things and just talking about it. This next one we're gonna talk about is like who people marry and what they eat. I'm gonna get my way into the New Testimony, but I'm gonna be everything there is gonna be in the Old Testament, right on. And we're not even gonna break down the whole dietary thing super duper crazy. What we're gonna talk about is how poor people can afford to eat healthy. These niggas would rather sell their EBT and smoke weed or shoot up heroin or some shit like that, as opposed to go buying food that they can eat, that's clean to eat, that's good to eat. If they actually use the money like they're supposed to, no matter how little they get, that's one more nutritious meal closer to better health than it wasn't. But you can't ask them to do that. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we end on this note. It's easy for people to be in a situation where they're not required to be the best version of them. And they don't even ever try. And they've never even had a hint or a scent of their best self. And I was talking to myself earlier. I said, the best version of me, the most dangerous version of me, is when I'm not actually angry, not completely unangry, completely just, you know what I mean? Ready to deliver justice and act like it's supposed to happen. Don't get angry or upset or nothing. Just stay completely cool. Like that's the most dangerous version, and that's where I'm doing my best to give. I'm still gonna get excited and still show that I care, but there's a part of me that the most dangerous. Like I said, the most dangerous version of me is not the wily veteran. It's really like the sage type of person that I know that lives, in this body, like the true best version of myself. And I'm trying to tell people like they don't know, you need to know who your best version of you is. Maybe the best version of you is you hyped up. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something in between, but you need to figure it out. And you need to seek to achieve that best version, without causing problems around, and in your life. You can be hyped up without, in your own way, without people ever knowing it. Right on. You can be calm and people don't think you're calm, but you could be completely calm. People could never know it. Right on. Somebody tried to tell me the other day at work, calm down. And I was like, how would you know I wasn't calm? Right? And I wanted to get into like this whole dialogue of, was it my diction? Was it my deliverance? Was it my demeanor? Right? See what I'm saying? But I didn't go there. I just let it go. But it's those sorts of things that a person must consider and they must leave on their mind. This is an introduction to better learning. This is how we're going to learn better, by just speaking on the things in a very base form. And everybody is either going to realize that I have just as much to lose and to gain, I guess, as they do, but I only have my salvation and my soul to lose. Like everybody doesn't have the same soul. Everybody didn't have salvation. Some people are only operating with a spirit out here, so it's different. Like when I say it, I really mean that because I know I'm operating with the soul. Right on. I'm not just somebody who's speaking those words. They'll never take it serious, and I'm glad that they won't. I salute you. May today be better than, excuse me, may tomorrow be better than today, and may your next week be better than your last. With that said, there's only so much learning that one can do in a day, but we must seek to continue to be the best that we can always be of ourselves. I mean, like the truest, best version of ourselves. That will be the version of ourselves that gets us to salvation. Believe that, brothers and sisters. Until next time.